Hello and welcome to today's episode of Thursday Tech Bites. I am Rick Vanover from Veeam, and I'm super happy to be back. This is my first live stream on Tech Bites in 2024, and we have a rockin' topic for you today. But first of all, first things first, I'm joining in Central Ohio. We've got producers in Texas, Ohio as well, and Georgia. We got a triangulation situation of our producers, and we've got guests that we're going to introduce here in Florida and Colorado. But we need to know where you're from. I'm seeing people tuning in from London, Portugal, Italy, Netherlands. Yos, how you doing? Got some friends already on the line, but let us know in the chat. We're live on 4 social platforms. This is great. So let me roll in my 2 guests that I have here today. I have the pleasure of hosting again Wasabi on the Tech Bytes stream, and I'll start with you, Chris Rushton. You're kind of a special one, but I'll heckle you in just a moment. But give us a quick introduction, Chris.
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Chris Rushton. I run the channel solution architecture team over here at Wasabi. We typically help out with the technical onboarding of most of Wasabi's channel partners and customers, and very excited to be here today.
Chris is also super famous in Veeam circles at VeeamOn 2023. He was the Lab Wars winner, and that is an accomplishment, Chris, because right behind you were 2 of the Veeam 100 members, I think Max and Wolfgang from both from Germany, or one's from Austria. But if maybe the native English, you had the advantage. I don't know, but rock on, Chris. That is an accomplishment. So congratulations. Also joining me is Rob Callaghan from Wasabi as well. Rob, why don't you give us a quick intro today?
Hey, thanks, Rick, for having us on today. I'm very excited to be here. I drive product marketing for all of our backup solutions, or I like to call cyber resiliency these days, providing a secure storage solution in the cloud for our customers.
Outstanding, Rob. So you're in Colorado, along with a couple of other of the Wasabi team is out there. Drew, if you're watching, howdy how. And our topic today is kind of fun. I gonna say I like this title. I made it up. To immutability and beyond. And I think, Rob, I'll start with you. You kind of like that topic because we need more than immutability today. Tell me why you think we need more than just immutability from a resiliency standpoint.
I think you're spot on with your title, and when you say and beyond, because cybercrime isn't standing still. The things that they go after today are just a piece of what they're going to go after tomorrow. And as they evolve, we need to evolve ourselves. And as they create new attack vectors, we need to be ahead of them. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today is the things that both Veeam and Wasabi have done to get ahead of that curve. I'm very excited to talk about that.
Yeah, indeed. So, Chris, I'll throw over a question to you real quick on this as well. You're super hands-on engineer, love it. And I like to equate things, and we'll talk about multi-user, we're going to talk about the Veeam 4 eyes in a second, but a primitive thing like immutability and some of these other administrative constructs, I like to say that they add layers of resiliency. And do you think I'm right? It's a mathematical equation of sorts. Do you like that approach?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you have your layer of protecting the actual data and the buckets with your backups inside of it. And then you have the layer of protecting your account so anyone cannot delete it.
And I'd go so far to say immutability is the table stake, right? And even multiple copies of it, right? Double play immutability. It's almost baseball season. I can start using that joke again. But I would also go so far as to say that these other ultra resilient techniques can really help prevent the bad actors in addition to the immutability. So I think it's a good time to jump right in. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
There you go.
All right, so I'm going to start with you guys on the Wasabi side, and let's jump over to the slides real quick. I want to start with this concept of multi-user authentication. Now, I actually intentionally didn't read these slides because I want you to explain it to me as you are the audience. So, Chris, maybe walk us through what I'm calling it MUA. Walk us through what this is and what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we originally came out with object lock and the immutability feature, right, that protects your data where you lock objects, make them immutable, non-deletable, non-modifiable for a certain period of time. Now, when you have an account at Wasabi and you make your data immutable, if somebody is using your access key, they cannot delete that data because it's been marked immutable. But for instance, if somebody were to gain access to your account, maybe because the password was not secure enough, you've not set up multi-factor authentication, they could still go into your account and just delete the account. There's a delete account option, right? If you want to stop being a customer for whatever reason, we hope that doesn't happen, but it is there to delete your account. And if you delete your account, it wipes away that immutable data. So that was the one way to remove immutable data. Delete your account with Wasabi. So we implemented, along with our multi-factor authentication, something called multi-user authentication. And what this allows you to do is set up contacts in your Wasabi account. We call them security contacts. And they can be Wasabi customers or non-Wasabi customer. It could be your manager, one of the partners in your department, to have to approve any account deletion requests. So even if somebody hacked your password and they were able to get into your Wasabi account, they would have to get the deletion request approved by your security contacts. And that deletion request would not happen if those security contacts did not approve the deletion request. And what we can see here on the slide is when an account delete request somebody clicks on it, right? An authorization request is sent to your security contacts who you've previously set up. And all of those security contacts in the list must approve the deletion before your account will be deleted. If that doesn't happen, that will time out within 15 minutes and your account will stay active.
So that's really fascinating, Chris. I love this type of capability on the account, right? A lot of times we really zero into the data immutability, but this type of capability on the account. So for Rob, a question for you on this, how would you position this? Is this to account owners? Is this to more risk management of, like, who does this kind of feature resonate to? Is it really to the users as well, but also to decision makers and more?
I think where this is interesting is that you're seeing an evolution in what data protection is. It used to be the backup admins and the people that were focused on data protection, but now you have security in there, SecOps, CISOs and stuff. So it's a combination. So I think it resonates with both sides, the security side, because they want to make sure that no one is in their accounts, but if they are, that they have a way to recover. And for the backup administrators that want to make sure that when the request comes to recover data, it is available.
That's really awesome because I like I said, we focus so much on the data, Veeam as well. And we'll talk about a Veeam capability that really is a nice companion to this. But producers have just let me know that the application is now ready. So let's take a quick look here. In the US, we've added California, Indiana, and additional people from Florida. And who was it? Florida. I was just in Florida this morning, friends. No joke. True. And Canada and Mexico have joined. Let's go over to Europe. We've got the UK, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, North Macedonia. Oh, good thing it's lit up on the map because I might not. Oh, I see it, but I would not have been able to pick that one on multiple choice. That might be a first, at least for me on the live streams. Austria, Germany, Serbia. Fun city, been to Belgrade, Romania. Welcome everyone. And let's go down to South America. We've got Argentina and Brazil. I love it when those two big ones come on and light the continent green. Over in APJ, we've got India and Pakistan. Welcome. And if we didn't call your country, let us know. Put it in the chat, especially the LinkedIn chat. I'm looking at that. I'm trying to clap, I'm trying to like, trying to give you hearts and all those good things. So I love this kind of stuff. Now, Rob and Chris, great overview of this capability, but I want to kind of go, when we think of it as an account setting, it actually sits in the portal. Is that right? It's not like in the Veeam console. So I'm showing let's take a look at the slide here. It goes into the account. Is that right?
Absolutely. So this is right in the settings page on your Wasabi console. Everyone who's using Wasabi today has a Wasabi console and has access to it. There's no additional charge for it, right? It comes built into Wasabi. And just to mention, right, it comes along with all of our other security settings. So one of the things that you can see here is there are some other items on the left-hand side with multi-factor authentication. You have to set up multi-factor authentication to enable the multi-user authentication. If you're not securing your password for any of these accounts, a lot of this other authentication isn't going to help. So we enforce the multi-factor authentication in order to set up multi-user authentication. And we can go and add a security contact in here. And Rick, you can go down to the next slide. Once you've added your security contact in, you can see them in the list here, and these will be the approvers of your deletion requests. Next slide. When you invite somebody to be a security contact, they will receive an email, and that person must accept the request or decline the request to be a security contact. So they're going to be involved in this process, and they will know about the deletion requests as they come in. And you can go back to the previous slide one more time.
Well, that's really cool, though. By the way, now I'm suspicious. I'm going to call you off script here, Chris. How do I know that this was legit when it looks like it? I mean, is this an email that's going to come from the right place? Is it going to look okay? I mean, is phishware going to catch it? So I'm always the skeptic. So I got to put you on the spot there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's going to come from a support email address at Wasabi that all of your Wasabi email addresses come from. Obviously, it's going to have the same DMARC and all of the mail security protocol settings in, so it should not go into the spam. The best thing to do would be to notify the person who you want to invite as a contact first. Say that you're going to invite them and verify that they are the ones getting the invite. Because obviously, if you're sending it a security contact to somebody you don't know, it doesn't really help you in any way. The goal is to protect your account. So you would want to send this to people who are aware they're going to be security contacts.
That's a very good point. And again, I'm always just trying to put these beyond constructs into place because I'm a skeptic. I look at email and in fact, it's easier if you just don't look at email. No, that's not true. That won't last very long, but I'm always looking for, just validation. And I love that it's the same support email handle that we would expect as a Wasabi customer. And the best part here, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, this is completely transparent to the Veeam implementation, which we have the Veeam ready object with immutability qualification within Veeam backup and replication. It's completely transparent. Is that correct?
That's correct. You're going to be moving your data from Veeam to us just like you normally do. It's the background on the account that's protected within the Wasabi console. And the thing that it really highlights the fact is that two things that makes it easier, or I guess higher level protection, is one, a bad actor can't go in and delete an account without everybody approving it, but they don't even know whose credentials they have to compromise to get that approval. So if they want to take it to the next step in a large company, they don't even know who those people are. So the chances of them being able to compromise all the accounts is pretty slim.
Yeah, again, layers. It's almost a math equation sometimes. And I want to talk a little bit about kind of a companion capability on the Veeam side. So the Veeam data platform had an incredible release in December of last year. Hopefully everybody knows that. And the 12.1 or 23H2 release had, I internally kind of jokingly call it 12.big. It was a huge release. And even you guys at Wasabi were rather excited about it too. Just driving more security capabilities. It resonated well with Wasabi as well.
I think it's got a plethora of new security features. We're very excited about those. The being able to go beyond just the data to data security, to account security. It's just taking to the next level so that when customers use us together, they are at a higher level of resistance to attacks and a better chance of recovery from attacks.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say additionally, Rob, is that I feel that there's one other thing that came with 12.1, which, if you think about some of the different use cases that might be out there, object storage as a source for backup is an interesting additional use case where Veeam can back up Wasabi data or other object storages that might be on premises going into Wasabi. Chris, I know you're always talking to customers and partners about different use cases. I personally, that was the top of my Veeam wish list. Has that come up in your circles at all, Chris, being able to back up object storage as a source?
Yeah, absolutely. We frequently see that question, right? Because Wasabi is a great place to store your data, but with 321 and making sure all of your data is safe and secure, being able to back up object storage data to someplace else, whether it's on-prem, another provider, another Wasabi region, right? That's a very powerful action that we never had before.
Indeed. Lot of anticipation from that, and great questions coming in. Benedict, thank you for the comments. I'm brave. I put my email out on LinkedIn. It's pretty easy to guess. But Benedict, send me an email. I'm going to get you in touch. Just restate your questions in a quick email, and I'll get you in touch with all of that. I will hook you up, sir. But just hopefully I can get your questions answered. But if you have a question, by the way, you got Mr. Veeam on Lab Wars winner 2023 on the line here, Chris Rushton. He is fantastic, super sharp. We looked several different times. He did not cheat. He did not have the answers to these scenarios and these quiz questions. So if you have any tech questions, let's see what we can do. All right. Now, I wanted to bring up one in particular, one super powerful set of capabilities that came with 12.1. Now, first of all, 4-eyes authorization and the Wasabi multi-user authentication, which we just spoke about. I am really, really loving the 4-eyes authorization because it prevents accidental or intentional configuration changes, data deletion, etc. Some attacks may not absolutely be stopped because, again, they're just going to keep working through, but at least we'll have logging of these different things. And of course, using MFA with Veeam is a very good protection. But then if everything is destroyed, whether it's ransomware, cyber incidents, fire, flood, and blood types of disasters, we have that copy in the Wasabi cloud that's ultra resilient and has this multi-user authentication. This is like by the numbers. I need some math. This is like super, super powerful stuff here. So what I want to do now is jump over into the lab, and I'm brave, friends. Literally just yesterday, I updated to the patch 1. And if you didn't know that, earlier this week, the 12.1 patch 1 was released. So in late December, we had the 23H2 release go out. But first of all, what I want to show you in my backup infrastructure, and I still have to do some updates. Chris is probably chuckling as he sees the little asterisks of things out of date and all of that. But I want to just give you an example of kind of the golden model here. I like this, the scale out backup repository with double play immutability. And double play meaning there's two completely separate copies, which you should do for the 3-2-1 rule. And then one of them's off-site, right? So on premises, I have a unified object storage with immutability right here. I'll put that in red. I'm putting my Zoom It skills to the work here today. And then off-site, let's go with pink. No, let's go with green because it's Wasabi. I'm going to have a second copy off-site in Wasabi, right? So this is like if I just met you and you asked me for a recommendation, this right here is what I would recommend to you. An on-premises object storage or other ultra-resilient copy of data could be the Veeam hardened repository, could be another object storage resource, and then something off site that is also immutable. Double play, immutability. And the one important part that I want to highlight on this is the copy mode versus move mode. I've been showing this part of the user interface for several years, but it's super important. It's a little bit of a busy part of the interface, but I think this is important. Number one, copy backups as they are created. So once an image is landing on that on-premises storage resource, which is immutable itself, let's immediately put the copy into, in this example, Wasabi with a completely different immutability control plane. And then the second thing I want to highlight, and Chris, I love rocking my jokes here, so just so you know it's coming. I like to say, encrypt your data in the cloud or someone else will do it for you. Now, what do you think of my config here? Again, sample configuration. Let's talk about routine deployments. I know you've spent time on this part of the user interface, Chris, but what are some of your thoughts on this config?
Yeah, so this config is a pretty standard configuration for an SOVR, right? You have your backups extended out to the capacity tier with immutable Wasabi storage. Anytime a backup is made, you're going to be copying that data immediately to Wasabi after that backup has been done. And then additionally, any backup files which are over 14 days old are going to be offloaded to Wasabi. They're actually not going to be offloaded to Wasabi because you're already copying them after 14 days, but the local copies within 14 days will remain locally. Anything after will stay in Wasabi. The local copies will get deleted.
Yeah.
And then, right, we're setting the local encryption password for Veeam. So on top of your Wasabi HTTPS in-flight encryption, and then you're writing to disk encryption, you're putting another layer of encryption on top of this, which you're storing in Veeam. So it's overall a very good configuration, very secure configuration with different layers of encryption on here. And the only thing that you would have to think about is whether you wanted to remove your local copies after 14 days or keep them on your local storage.
Yeah, and those are those policy decisions that a lot of times come out of tabletop exercises, architecture drills, and things like that. And the only thing I'm going to knock myself on is put it in pink here. Number one, I haven't rotated my key in about a year. Number two, most production environments might not be okay with offload anytime. So that's maybe the one area I would adjust here. But back to the part that matters. And for those of you new to Veeam, I actually think the most powerful part of the user interface is that which is in the object storage or the disk area of the user interface. It kind of shows you what is under management by Veeam. So let me just take, for example, this one. And this is kind of a worst case example because I'm not putting this backup on my double play immutability, right? This is on just plain storage, no immutability. But I want to highlight what the Veeam implementation can do here. So one of the things that came in the 23H2 release was this authorization section right here. So I'll zoom in that you can see it. 4 eyes authorization. What this means is that if something like a deletion, or whether it's accidental or intentional, is going to happen on the Veeam server, it has to be approved. So a similar construct to what Chris and Rob explained, implemented on the Veeam BNR server. So let me show you how this works in action. And I am Rick as my user in this lab. Where was it? So, well, I know I am. But basically, if I want to go down here and do something bad, like delete these backups from disk, now this one is not immutable, right? So I would have that protection in the best case model, but without, I don't have it. So I don't have that protection. I'm given a new message. This operation will be pending until another operator approves it. Go for it. Let's do it. Now that backup data stays on disk. Now I'm going to have to wait for Emily Tellez to go in and approve my request to delete multiple backups. Now, I think this is a really cool additional way that we can have these types of beyond types of configurations. And I really wanted to bring this up to everyone because I think it's really powerful. Between what Veeam and Wasabi are doing, these are, in my opinion, ways you can take this ultra resilient conversation truly to the next level. And then there's so much more to 12.1 or 23H2, especially around malware detection. I should probably do a whole show separately on that, but a couple of things here: the Yara scan, AV scan, sure backup on demand and random, all kinds of interesting stuff. The producers have told me that the map is ready. So let's go back over to that real quick. And we've got a cool selection here of new places added. We have added France, Czech Republic, Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, not Ivory Coast, but Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Mozambique, Kyrgyzstan. That one might be new for me. And then check it over in Europe as well. So everyone, thank you so much for watching with us and tuning in today. I love it when the application gets green. So a couple of things going on at Veeam. First of all, before I forget, I have to write it down every day because these teases are real. Next Tuesday, the 30th, I think, Chris, you're up with Cody Alt on a webinar. Is that right?
I believe so.
You believe so? Oh, wait, no, how about Rob? Rob is up. How about Rob? Sorry about that. Rob's up on Tuesday.
I like the look of fear in Chris's eyes when you said that. As he tried to do that, but yes, it's me. I got to work with the great Cody Alt.
Yeah, outstanding. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about the two solutions together. And by the way, friends, Cody is about as Veeam old as me. He's been here a long time ago. You should ask him about our first working arrangement and my headphones. It's a story. Also, 2 for Tuesday. On the Tuesday, the 30th, we have this webinar with Rob and Cody about Wasabi and Veeam. Also, Part 2 of the Industry Insights live stream with Sir Dave Russell and Jason Buffington will be up. Part 1, they talked about the willingness to change backup solutions in an organization. Part 2, which will be on Tuesday the 30th, they will talk about drivers for change and why and what makes it modern. So really love the DPR. If you haven't been to veeam.com, you cannot miss the link to download the data protection trends report. Friends, I love this. It is a very good way to learn about the industry. And Jason, the research team, great job. Love this content. So as we kind of almost bring it home, Chris and Rob, thank you so much for joining me here today on the TechBytes stream.
Thank you. I have one funny story you'll appreciate.
Uh-oh.
In December, I did a event targeted at the education market, but we were there with Veeam, talked to a lot of customers. And when you're in the booth, you're talking about your product, you're talking about your partnerships, you're excited about it, all these things. And a lot of people came up, but the only thing the customers wrote down was about 4 Eyes and MUA. When I talked about that and together, and I may have poked fun at your name for it, but whatever, they wrote that down as very important because that was something game-changing for them. Love it.
Love it. Chris, thank you so much for joining me. See if you can beat the challenge next year.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate being here. I just wanted to mention one thing, right? Everybody, the security of your data is very important. If you're not going to turn on multi-user authentication, go in and turn on multi-factor authentication. We just had the largest breach of all history. 26 billion passwords have been hacked. If anyone's ever used Dropbox, LinkedIn, Twitter, they have your passwords now if they didn't before. So make sure you turn on multi-factor authentication at minimum.
And change said passwords for sure.
Correct.
All right. Well, big thank you to Mark in the ATL, Jeffrey in the OH, and Felicia in the TX, rocking the production. Friends, I could not do this without them. They make me look so good, and I am grateful for the production quality of these streams. We will see you next time on the TechBytes stream. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.
In a world of increasing cyber threats and smarter cyber criminals, be radically resilient. Introducing Veeam Data Platform 23H2 Update, built on Zero Trust architecture, and with AI-powered threat detection, proactive threat hunting, SIM systems and ServiceNow integration, and Yara content analysis. Plus, Veeam's new Threat Center helps identify risks to your environment in a simple, powerful security scorecard. The Veeam Data Platform includes backup and recovery, monitoring and analytics, plus recovery orchestration. Learn more at vee.am/what's new and achieve radical resilience.